Welcome back, it's Jen with Happy Humble Home, and today we're going to be doing another cooking video where I'm going to make a recipe from my childhood that I share with y'all. So before we jump into that though, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure that that little notification bell is still selected as well, so that way you get notified of all the adventures that happen here on Happy Humble Home. Now, typically I very rarely do any kind of cooking recipes. It's usually quick, short, simple, or like sweet desserts and move on. This is an actual Mexican cornbread. That's the name of the recipe. And just so you know, I'm not even sure if you can still find the cookbook that this was in. Growing up, we just called it the Pioneer Cookbook. I don't actually know if that's the name. I don't know if it's old Pioneer days. I don't really know. But I do know it was put out by the Bell South Corporation, because I very vividly remember that picture on the front of the book, and I can see the book in my head, but I see the word Pioneers on it, but I don't know if there's any other words with it. So that's one reason. I don't know if it would be easy to find the actual cookbook that this was in, but if by some chance you understand which cookbook I'm trying to reference, then there's like 10 or 12 Mexican cornbread. Yeah, that's just the name of it. In that book, it is the only recipe that has meat in it. Everything else is just like the cornmeal and veggies. So if for some reason you like find this in your parents' or grandparents' house or whatever, then it's the recipe that has the 1 pound of ground meat in it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into getting that all ready. Hey guys, so like I said, today we're going to be making a Mexican cornbread recipe. So this is absolutely like my all-time favorite meal. When I was growing up, it was always one I wanted for my birthday, and it's one of those meals like if you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, I would probably choose Mexican cornbread. This specific recipe, I've had other variations of it, it's just not the same. So let's go ahead and jump right in. First things first, I will leave the recipe and I'll try my best to make it a printable version in the description below, so don't feel like you have to pause the video. You can do that if you want to and write down everything, but it will be in the description for the video. And 8-inch skillets, so I just went ahead and leave them in my oven as it's preheating to 350. Now, you can do 2 8-inch skillets, or what I used to do and what Mom used to do growing up was just one bigger iron skillet, so like 12, 14, 16 inch. I don't really know what the measurement of it is, but like one of the bigger cast iron skillets is what we would always use. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I'll tweet that in the recipe below, but my iron skillets is going ahead and heating up in the oven. So let's go ahead and get to making it. A few things that you'll need to go ahead and have kind of prepared if you want to. You'll need to go ahead and have some shredded cheese, whether you buy it, shred it yourself, but you'll need shredded cheese that's ready to be put on. And then go ahead and just ahead of time, go ahead and dice you up 1 large onion. And the recipe says a jar of jalapenos, but obviously these are some that I had from my garden last year that I'm using, so just go ahead and have those sliced up. And then go ahead and brown you up 1 pound of ground beef, ground venison, whatever. But typically I've only had the recipe when it's either been ground beef or ground venison, so you'll need 1 pound of that. Brown, drained, and ready to go. So now we're gonna get into the Mexican cornbread, like the cornbread portion of it. So you will need 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. And I'm gonna put just a little extra because this is a coarse cornmeal, so I'm just gonna put a little extra in there just because. And then you're gonna need 1 1/4 cups of flour, this recipe is one of those I don't make it a whole lot because my family's not the biggest on it, because I personally am really gonna want to revoke my Southern card here, but 1 cup of milk. I am not a cornbread person by any stretch of the imagination. This is like really the only thing that I will eat that's cornbread. 2 eggs. And then my family is not real big on spice. So even though I've made this and haven't put as many jalapenos on it, they're just still not the biggest fans because they're not huge cornbread people either. But every now and then I'll make it, and it is the best recipe ever. Okay, you're gonna need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I just kind of went ahead and mixed those two together there. And then you're also going to need 1/2 cup of bacon drippings. So this is technically optional because I know that my mom has made it with it, and I know that she has made it without it. Even without it, it is still really good, and it's still one of my favorite meals. With it though, it just kind of kicks it up a notch. Like, what was it that Emerald used to say, bam, and kick it up a notch or something like that. So it just kind of gives that little extra oomph to the recipe. And then also 1 can of cream style corn. This recipe is so easy to make, y'all. I'm pretty much already done with it. So now we're just gonna give this a good mix. So we have our cornmeal, flour, eggs, salt, baking soda, corn, and the bacon drippings. Get that mixed really well together. Now you're just going to basically layer it up. We're going to go get our skillets out of the oven. Okay. Oh yeah, so this, you can kind of see the size. Again, I don't know the actual dimensions of this iron skillet, but it's more than the 8-inch. It's, I think, the size up. All right, so now we're just going to pour 1/2 of our batter into the hot iron skillet. That might have been a little more than 1/2, but it'll be okay. There, yeah, that was definitely more than 1/2, but it'll be okay. Then we're going to take the stuff that we have already prepared, our onions, cheese, and meat. So we're going to start just layering it in, okay? We're gonna put about 1/2 of the onions. Now, if you're splitting this up between the 2 smaller skillets, then you would want to put about 1/4 of your onions. But since I'm making it 1 bigger skillet, we're just gonna do about 1/2 and 1/2. And you could, I mean, good thing about this recipe with the layering, you could also make like more layers if you wanted to, but we're gonna do it this way. And then now we're gonna put about 1/2 of the cheese. And just kind of, and this is just basic sharp cheddar cheese, so about 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese. I don't remember if I told you the exact measurement, but about 8 ounces. Or it's one of those, I feel like cheese is one of those ingredients you just kind of measure with how much you actually want of it. So we're just gonna put about 1/2 of our meat on here too. Let's just round up and so then I'm just going to layer on the onions. And if you wanted to make thinner layers, you could do that. You could even go ahead and do, so you make 4 layers in this with the bigger iron skillet would be fine too. It just kind of, however you wanted to layer it up. And all. So this way it just kind of keeps it all good in the middle. And then put our cheese next. We're just gonna kind of spread the cheese around there and layer the rest of the meat. And again, I probably didn't do my layers the most even, but it'll be okay. It all bakes together really nicely. The main thing is that the peppers, you want to be on the very top of the cornbread, and you want to be able to have everything sandwiched together between layers of cornbread. That's the main objective for layering everything. So if you wanted to go ahead and do the quarter layers, even though you're doing one bigger iron skillet, that's fine. You could do kind of like the half, like what I did. It's really whatever you want to do. As y'all can see, I'm not a sticker for following recipes exactly the same. And I probably put a bit much on the bottom half, but that's okay. It'll still all bake together really nicely, which is what we're wanting. So, all right, let's try to get a little more. Okay, now that's pretty covered. I said I probably did a little bit thick on the first layer, but it'll be just fine. All right, so now we're gonna take your jalapenos and you're just going to layer them on and just kind of gently press them into your cornbread here, because it will bake up nice and neat in the cornbread. If you wanted to maybe put layers in there as well, you can, but you just want to make sure that you do top your cornbread with the jalapenos. And I remember growing up, if Mom did the 2 small skillets, she may do one that didn't have some of the jalapenos, or she would not put as many, because not everybody likes something as spicy as I do. So that's why I'm kind of going a little jalapeno heavy here, because that's the way that I like it. So that's what we're getting today. And these jalapenos, I am leaving the seeds in. If you get the ones that are jarred, I don't remember them having the seeds in it, but I typically don't buy jarred jalapenos. I'll just buy fresh jalapenos, or just get them. I just typically use the fresh ones. So you could leave the seeds out as well if that would help not make it so spicy. But my iron skillet is still pretty, she's still hot. We'll do it this way. So as you can see there, like, it looks sort of delicious. If y'all could smell this, it would be great. So we're gonna put it in the oven at 350 for about 45 to 50 minutes. It'll be a nice golden brown, and I'll show you what it looks like when it gets done baking. So it has been about 55-ish minutes at 350, and you can see how, if y'all could smell this, oh, it smells so delicious. Now, one other thing that I had already mentioned with the layering, you could kind of layer more layers, less layers, however you wanted to do it, that would be fine. Technically, the recipe says to put the peppers on top of your last layer of meat before you put your last layer of cornbread, or of the cornmeal batter. I did not do that. I just like to push them down the top, because that to me helps them give more of like the like roasted type of jalapenos. Whereas if they're kind of more in the cornbread, they're gonna, like, if they're actually in the cornbread more baked in, they're gonna be a little bit softer, whereas this one's, they've kind of got that little crisp with them, but still soft enough. So you could do that as well. But ultimately, let's go ahead, and I'm gonna cut off a slice here and show y'all how delicious this is. Y'all, it would be so good. And the iron skillets, they do really well at they do a really good job at getting the crust nice and browning all the edges of it. All that cheese, y'all. It's hard to see, I know, because I only have 2 free hands, so sorry, y'all. You're gonna just have to make me struggle to get out this first piece. So y'all can kind of see how it layered it all together. Even if I technically messed up my layers a little bit, you can see how it's still all baked really nicely together. And here's the moment of truth to see if it tastes like childhood or not. It may not be perfectly exactly what, y'all, it tastes just like what Mama used to make. And everything that's really good about this recipe is that it heats up, it reheats just as well, and it tastes just as good reheated. There is very few recipes that I would actually even eat cold. This is one of those recipes I will eat cold, y'all. It is so good. So, all right, guys. So, as always, thank y'all for watching. And if y'all have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. And I would love to know if you've tried this recipe, or if you've had it in the past, or maybe remember that cookbook from childhood as well. But let me know in the comment section below. Y'all have a good one.